everybody. Welcome to Money Morning Must Knows. My name is Merlin Rothfeld. The government shutdown continues, and that data that we're looking at may be delayed. So as I show you some of the stuff here, may not be coming out as planned, especially if it's coming from government agencies. And of course, on Friday, we had a great week. Everything was fantastic until Friday morning, and all of a sudden, everything pretty much sold off on that Friday session. We'll see what it looks like for our Monday session. What's driving that? I can tell you we have 131 companies reporting earnings this week, and it may not seem like a lot, but there are some monstrous, heavy-hitting companies reporting. We start things off on Monday with a boring one. That's going to be Fastenal. On Tuesday, it kicks off earnings season, and it's all financials. JP Morgan, Wells Fargo, Goldman Sachs, BlackRock, Citigroup, and of course Johnson & Johnson, not a financial firm. But those are big. This will set the tone for earnings season. On Wednesday, even more banks. You got Bank of America, Morgan Stanley, PNC Financial, United Airlines, Abbott Labs, and ASML. Thursday brings you Taiwan Semiconductor, Charles Schwab, Intuitive Surgical, USB, and CSX Transportation. And finally, wrapping up our week, and it's a busy one, on Friday, American Express, State Street, and Huntington Bank shares. I, for one, am a little interested to see what happens with Huntington Bank shares, because a couple years ago, there was a lot of talk about their commercial loans falling apart and really doing some damage to Huntington Bank shares. It doesn't seem to have come to fruition. All right, now let's talk about the next piece of data. This assumes that we actually get the data released because we are in a government shutdown. What data, pray tell? Well, we're going to be talking about inflation data. We've had the core PCE price index. Now we're going to start things off on Wednesday at 8:30 a.m. Eastern time with that CPI number. And you can see over the last few months, it has been rising, which is not a good sign. Remember, they've lowered rates and we're seeing inflation start to rise on CPI. Not the best signal. We move to Thursday, we get producer price index, which is doing a bit better, although more volatile. You can see most of the time for the past 6 readings, it's been under zero. Last one is a negative 0.1. Ideally, if you are somebody who wants more rate cuts to come, and we are hearing more and more about rate cuts coming, if you want more rate cuts, then you would like to see this be a negative number for PPI and a decline in CPI. That would give more fuel to the Fed to lower rates. If they start to tick up and move up, I don't know, we may not see 2 more rate cuts by the end of the year. Remember, October 29th is our next rate cut, and we have one in December as well. That's the expectation, by the way, that we have 2 more rate cuts. This may shift the balance of that story. All right, let's move on to the last little piece here. And again, more government data. This is supposed to be released last week. We have the unemployment rate. Right now, expectations are we're going to stay at 4.3%, but this is tentative for Friday. This is already supposed to have happened on the first weekend of the month of October, but we had a government shutdown and it's still going on. So at some point, this number will be released. Right now, tentative for Friday at 8:30 a.m. Eastern time on the upcoming trading week. And you can see we've got a little trend going up here, right? A little slight increase there in that unemployment rate. Of course, these are very important data points for Jerome Powell and the Federal Reserve. We've got inflation, unemployment. Hopefully, the government shutdown comes to some resolution over the weekend and we get some exciting pieces here. Markets get back on track and we get more market volatility. That, my friends, is your Money Morning Must Knows. We will see you next week.